ladies and gentlemen, we are getting closer and closer to starting tonight's action. Lots of fun and get yourselves comfortable, which I'd love to see. Now, of course, throughout this competition, we have arrived at the final day of competition in the FINA Swimming World Cup, the first of 3 back-to-back World Cup weekends. So it is the end of the beginning, but certainly not the beginning of the end. Great to have your company here in Berlin, magnificent Berlin and sunny Berlin as well. What a glorious day it has been in this fascinating city, this vast city, this sprawling city, this cultured city, and this city that is hosting for the first time ever 2 World Cup events side by side in diving and swimming. Well, the diving has concluded, and it's now time to focus our attention solely on these swimming races. 11 of them to bring you, 11 finals coming up over the next hour and a half or so. A compact session and a thoroughly exciting one it's going to be. Had some fabulous races last night, didn't we? Those of you who were watching the action will have doubtless thoroughly enjoyed it. And for those of you who didn't see it, well, you're forgiven. Just good to have you here tonight because, well, much the same is probably in store for all of us watching on. That's what's coming up over the next little while. It will be quite a short session. 11 finals to bring you. We'll start with the men's 400 metres individual medley. The women's 800 metres freestyle will come after that. The 800 metres only for women in World Cup competition. We'll finish at the end of our session with the women's 200 metre individual medley final. So we go from 50 all the way up to 800 in this session. The World Cup series moves on to North America in just a week's time. And the champion last year in men's competition, Matthew Sates, looking very good this year as well. He was thoroughly impressive on the first day, thoroughly impressive yesterday. So we'll be seeing more of him today. It's a competition or a series of events that began back in 1988. The whole idea is that it takes place in these short course pools, 25-metre pools rather than the 50-metre Olympic length pools. A very different sort of competition, really, and for those athletes who specialise in the short course formats, like Beta Nelson of the United States of America, well, she comes into her own. She's leading the way at the moment in the standings. And it's all about points accumulation. At the end of this session, we will have a couple of victory ceremonies for the women's and men's competitors who are in the top 3. They'll receive their medals and their prize money. The vast majority of the events have a preliminary heat format, but for the 800 metres and the 1500 metres, it uses a timed, what am I trying to say, timed final format, that's the word. I don't know why the word final just escaped me there for a moment. It was an extraordinary word to manage to forget when we just have 3 days of swimming finals, one after the other, but there you go. So yes, we'll have the timed final format early on in our session where all of the swimmers swim just once and then we compare and contrast the numbers. But for the shorter distances, everything uses the heats and finals system. And all of this taking place in a facility that was built in 1993 for Berlin's ultimately unsuccessful bid to host the Olympic Games, but it's served its purpose very well as a marvellous facility. The athletes love being here because at this Swimming World Cup they have really state-of-the-art facilities, fantastic warm-up facilities as well. It's not always in a venue solely about what you see when the action begins. For athletes, it's what goes on around it. And it's a very popular city to compete in. And also for the swimmers, they do thoroughly enjoy having the chance to actually come to this wonderful city to get out and explore a little bit. There are so many famous landmarks that people want to visit when they're in Berlin. And it is a city that is absolutely well worth a visit should you get the opportunity to do so. And you could come for the Special Olympics World Games next year in June. We had a demonstration of Special Olympics mixed relay racing on the first night of competition. And that certainly has really increased the air of excitement about Germany's first ever hosting of the Special Olympics World Games. But what of tonight? What of the finals that are about to take place? As I said earlier, 11 of them. And it's great to have your company wherever in the world you're joining the action from, whatever time of day or night or something in between. The competition governed by FINA, Fédération Internationale de Natation, the governing body for aquatic sports. It was founded 114 years ago. In July of 1908, a most esteemed institution. It's been involved in sports governance for a very long time. It was actually founded at the end of the 1908 Olympics in a hotel in London, which is where the games took place. Popular in terms of the numbers of competitive swimmers, it's very high, but also amateur swimmers too. Lots of recreational societies. So we have a little while until the start of competition, only just over 5 minutes or so. Time to just take stock of how things are looking in the women's and men's rankings. So let's start with the women, and at the top of the table it's Beta Nelson of the United States of America, the short course specialist, on 49.4 points. Ali Flickinger of the USA, 47.2, and then Louise Hansen on 39.4. And I'm going to stop at this stage saying anything about the points because good old John Mason, our arena presenter and much respected interviewer, is also running through this data for the fans at the moment, so you'd rather run the risk of having two competing voices shouting out different sets of numbers. So I'll come back to those numbers in just a moment, and hopefully it'll be slightly easier to follow. At the moment, all of the fans are very much glued to the leaderboard, which has the men seeing Matthew Sates at the top of the standings on 55.5 points. He's had a fantastic competition. So just to restate those top three in the women's: Louise Hansen, Hallie Flickinger and Beta Nelson. And in the men's competition, well, it is Chad Leclos, Bernhard Reitzhammer and Matthew Sates. Right, let's get into it. So we are going to get underway in just a moment. So we have a matter of a few minutes until the start of competition on this final day of Swimming World Cup action from Berlin. Chance for some of the athletes who have concluded their competition, including some of the divers, to sit and watch and enjoy. As I mentioned earlier, rare, indeed unprecedented chance to have World Cup diving and swimming in the same venue at the same time. So it's allowed for a healthy amount of cross-pollination among the spectators and among the athletes themselves. They'll wake up soon, I'm sure. 11 finals to bring your way. We start with the men's 400-metre individual medley, the women's 800-metre freestyle next. Then we go into a sequence of shorter distances. Here are the officials in charge of tonight's proceedings. It's the FINA Swimming World Cup in Berlin, Germany, at the Schwimm- und Sprunghalle in Europa Sport Park. The SSE is proud to host this FINA Swimming World Cup, and these officials are proud to be a part of it. Getting warmly applauded by the crowd as they come out to take their places. And we'll have the formal introductions in just a moment of all of the officials responsible for the governance of this session. Here is the jury.
The women's referee for this session is the FINA Technical Swimming Committee referee and men's referee for the event is Danny Cardon. The starters this session are Ingo Zacharias and Frank Brenner. And the FINA Technical Swimming Committee delegate is Jens Christian Iversen. Technical officials, you may now take your seats.
The men's 400 metres individual medley will get us underway. The first of 11 finals to bring your way this evening. And let's bring out the competitors and find out who it is that is trying to secure precious World Cup points. Certainly, we are going to have a good chance of more points for the runaway leader in the men's competition in this first race, because Matthew Sates, who has an advantage of some 15 points at the top of the leaderboard, is competing here, and he was one of the fastest performers in qualification. The women's competition much closer, much tighter. More on that later.
The men's 400-metre individual medley.
Here we go, the men's 400-metre individual medley.
In lane 8, representing Slovakia, Richard Nagy.
Richard Nagy of Slovakia goes in lane 8.
In lane 1, representing Netherlands, Thomas Janssen.
Thomas Janssen of the Netherlands is in lane number 1.
In lane 7, representing Spain, Marcos Martin Bugilio.
In lane number 7, Marcos Martin Burguillo of Spain.
In lane 2, representing Mexico, Hector Rubalcaba.
Hector Rubalcaba of Mexico is in lane 2.
In lane 6, representing Italy, Pier Andrea Matazzi.
Yeah, Andrea Mateazzi of
In
Italy
lane 3, representing
occupies
Hungary,
lane number
Hubert
6.
Koss.
Hungary's Hubert Koss is in lane number 3.
In lane 5, representing South Africa, Matthew Sates.
South Africa's Matthew Sates in lane 5, the top performer so far and the World Cup champion last year.
And in lane 4, representing Italy, Alberto Razzetti.
But here is your fastest from qualification.
Focus and backing out. Go.
Alberto
This
Razzetti.
is the men's 400-meter individual medley fastest heat.
So best qualifying time was produced by Alberto Razzetti, but this is a fastest heat format, so anything can happen. What about Matthew Sates, who's been in exceptional form? Hubert Kos as well of Hungary. Good fast times from them of late. But Razzetti occupying lane number 4, courtesy of a sub 4-minute time. And Razzetti has been a short course world champion at half the distance in the butterfly. That was last year in Abu Dhabi, but the medley European champion in Rome, in his home country, in the long course competition. (16 lengths in this short course format. The FINA Swimming World Cup of 2022 is underway in Berlin, and we have the men's 400 metres individual medley taking place. Hubert Kos ahead of Matt Sates early on, by only 700ths of a second. Sates, the top performer so far in World Cup competition this year, and indeed last year. Sates already is looking very compelling. He's got a second pretty much over Kos, with the Mexican Rubalcaba, who is in lane number 2 in 3rd position. But medleys are fascinating things. They naturally will change complexion as the strokes change. Alberto Razzetti is part of the conversation now as well, but we're really watching a one-person race from Sates. It looks as though Rubalcaba will be quite close, just inside 2 seconds. Down to the backstroke as Sates is still looking very, very dominant. He's going to increase his margin over Razzetti to 2.04. Next strongest, Hubert Kos of Hungary. The 150-metre mark, it is Sates all the way, 2.5 seconds now. The gap has grown over Alberto Razzetti. Still, Hubert Kos is there in 3rd place. Thomas Janssen, though, getting rather close. This will be an interesting turn. So we've got Sates, then it is Kos, then Janssen. So things have changed a little bit. Razzetti dropping down from 4th, or to 4th, I should say, from 2nd place of the last 25 metres. Coming up now to the halfway mark of the contest. Sates making it look really rather easy at the moment, but Kos has got it back to 1.28 seconds. Has he judged this right, Sates? Has he paced himself appropriately? At the moment, all the signs are pretty good, but Kos has got it back to just over a second. So this is a good reply from the gentleman from Hungary. Coming up to 150 metres remaining. Sates has pulled ahead really impressively over the last 25 metres. He's come close to doubling his advantage over Hubert Kos. And this is why Sates has been an absolute runaway leader so far in the World Cup over the last couple of days and over the last season. Janssen now moving into 2nd place, but there's a gap of 2 3/4 seconds. And we are fast approaching the last 100 metres. Sates all the way, that is clear. Kos 2nd, Janssen 3rd. Very close between Kos and Janssen. 3.27 and 3.51 respectively behind the leader, Matthew Sates. Sates is really now finding his peak performance in this race. 3.5 second gap. Just got 2 lengths to go now, the South African. What about this for an advantage? 2.91 seconds as Alberto Razzetti has come back into the game. Janssen has dropped down to 4th position from 2nd. And here we go, heading towards the wall. It's Matthew Sates of South Africa. No question that he's going to win this and win this very comfortably. And it's looked that way right from the start, frankly. It's Sates, and then coming in for second place, Radzetti. Third position goes to Hubert Koss of Hungary. Brilliant from Matthew Sates, just brilliant. He has been fantastic over the last few days. He'll extend his advantage at the top of the leaderboard. Let's look back at the best moments of this race, or should we say this showcase of Matthew Sates. The classified results in the men's 400-metre individual medley. Hubert Koss of Hungary winning the bronze medal. Alberto Radzetti of Italy takes the silver, and Matthew Sates of South Africa wins it. Now let's just contextualise all of that with what we have also had take place earlier on in the men's 400 metres. No change right at the top of the leaderboard. And let's go to John Mason.
Microphone.
In a minute. Poor old John. He's very good, but he's not that good. It's a microphone.
My apologies. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, we're on live television. A great start, boys, to tonight's race. And Matthew, you went out like a shot during that butterfly. I know it's 4 different strokes. Was that part of the strategy, knowing that you were going to be going up against these two?
Yeah, definitely to take control of the race from the beginning, to kind of see how I feel. I got the tough double. So, yeah, I got to turn it free later. But I was pretty grateful to be here with FINA putting this all on. Such a good organization to be part of, especially one in their athletes. There's not an organization in the world for something that treats their athletes so well. So I'm just happy to be here.
And you know what, mate? It's always a pleasure to watch you race as well. And Alberto, I know that was your one race. You said one and done. That was enough at this start of the season, right?
Yeah, for October, 4 a.m. is enough for one day. So I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy for this race. It's always nice to race with those guys, and you always learn something every time you race with them, so I'm really happy.
And I mean, you kind of dropped out sort of halfway through that race, out of that top 3 position, and then battled back. Could you feel where they were? Did you know you were putting your foot down on that gas?
Yeah, I was seeing Matthew ahead from the beginning, but I see Hubert was next to me the whole race, so I just tried to stay next to him. And I knew I was feeling pretty good in freestyle today, so I tried to give all in the free, and it worked, so I'm happy.
And Hubert, just quickly, that concludes your program. Are you happy with the way it's all gone here this weekend so early on?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is 3 seconds better than I was last year. 3 seconds off my top time as well, so plus my top time. So it's a decent start, and I'm waiting for Toronto next week.
I can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know you're coming too. Matthew's got the 200 coming on later on, so better let you guys get off and swim down. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your winner, Matthew Sates.
Well, there he is again, Matthew Sates, the 19-year-old from South Africa. This is his territory. The women's 800-metre freestyle, using the fastest heat format. Let's have a look at the 8 that are taking to the water. Lila Abraham of Hungary goes in lane 8.
Representing Belgium, Valentin Dumont.
Belgium in lane number 1. It's Valentin Dumont.
Representing the Netherlands, Imani de Jong.
From the Netherlands, Imani de Jong goes in lane number 7.
On lane 2, representing Spain,
Angela Martinez in lane number 2. Spaniard. Katja Fein of Slovenia is in lane 6. Zara Velbrock of Germany goes in lane number 3.
Italy, Martina Rita Carminoggi.
Martina Caramignoli is in lane 5.
On lane 4, representing Germany, Isabel Gose.
And Isabel Goza of Germany goes in lane 4. The start list for the women's 800-metre freestyle competition here in Berlin using the fastest heat format, and some good prospects for the Germans in lanes 3 and 4, Zara Velbrock and Isabel Goza. The women's 800-metre freestyle fastest heat begins at the Berlin Swimming World Cup of 2022, and it is Imani de Jong of the Netherlands who takes the early lead over Valentine Dumont of Belgium. A long way to go in this, 32 lengths of the pool to be undertaken. Germany are very optimistic of success in this race. They have Zara Velbrock in lane number 3, Isabel Goza next to her. This is always the case in this sort of competition, a race of this length, just about good tactical judgment. So often one sees athletes forced into racing someone else's race by having the tempo dictated by somebody else. We had a very enthralling men's 1500 metres yesterday where the top two just kept so close to each other in adjacent lanes throughout, very aware of the other's company. 150-metre mark. It is Goza over Velbrock. Germany 1 and 2 at the moment. Third position, Valentine Dumont, Belgium, out in lane number 1. The 20-year-old Isabel Goza looking good at the moment. European champion in long course competition in Rome in the 400-metre freestyle. She took a silver medal over this distance. She has been a European Championship short course medalist as well in the 800 metres freestyle. That was last year. Goes up over Velbrock by 2.27 seconds at the moment. Velbrock, the 1500 metres freestyle bronze medalist at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. She's been an open water world champion as well, and a European short course champion over this distance. That was in 2017 back in Copenhagen. So we're now just a matter of a few lengths away from the halfway point of the entire race, with Goza in control and Velbrock, her teammate, 3.01 behind. Third place is still Valentine Dumont of Belgium. Gap growing. This is very tidy and very impressive from Isabel Goza so far. No change to the top three. Very little movement at the moment because we still have so long to go. We are coming up now to the halfway point. So at the halfway mark, it's Isabel Goza of Germany over Sarah Velbrock by 3.98. Sarah Velbrock is just starting to drift backwards by comparison to Goza. And it continues to be the impressive young German who dictates and really extends the lead to 4.58. Valentine Dumont still in third position, 6.84. Very little movement, very little jostling at the moment. And Dumont is quite some way ahead of Katja Fein, who's in fourth position. Still, that gap continues to grow. Angela Martinez just getting close to Katja Fein. So it could become a little tighter for some of the lower points. It's over 5 seconds now that Isabel Goza has in terms of advantage over her teammate Sarah Velbrock. 250 meters remaining for Isabel Goza. 5.55 seconds ahead of Sarah Velbrock. She has absolute authority in this race. Came in as overwhelmingly the fastest in terms of recent times, and we're seeing that borne out by her performance here. Occasionally you get some real surprises based on some of the fastest times of late, but we're not having any hint of that here. Isabel Goza coming up to the last half dozen. 650-meter mark for the young German. And she's 6.64 seconds ahead of Sarah Velbrock. And it remains Dumont in third position. Martinez of Spain is just behind in fourth, but a couple of seconds shy of Dumont. That gap now is at almost 7 seconds. Goza has judged it superbly. She's paced it beautifully. She's continuing to press her advantage. The gap gives the impression of going nowhere anytime soon, apart from favourably in the direction of Isabel Goza. Let's see where we are here at the 725-meter mark. 7.5 seconds exactly. She's very nearly there now. The job almost done by Isabel Goza, living completely up to her pre-match billing in terms of the record books. And still the gap is getting close to 8 seconds. It's been an exhibition swim really from Isabel Goza she's about to get to the end of this one and win it so very convincingly. They are applauding in the stands, and they're absolutely right to applaud in the stands. That was glorious from Isabel Goza. Wow, what a superb performance. The 20-year-old is there, 8.19 seconds ahead of Zara Velbroek, who takes second place in this race. Valentine Dumont in lane number 1, the Belgian, 13.41 seconds behind as the third fastest performer, with Katja Fein just edging ahead of Angela Martinez to secure fourth position. And we look back at really what was a one-person race from Isabel Goza of Germany. Well done to her. Classified results in this women's 800-metre freestyle fastest heat. Valentine Dumont of Belgium in third place. Sarah Velbroek of Germany second, and Isabel Goza, her teammate, well and truly victorious. And we look at now the winners. And we go to John Mason.
Well, I tell you what a fantastic race there. 1-2 for Germany, Isabel, Sarah, congratulations. Isabel, you had a fantastic swim in the 400, now the 800. It's got to be giving you a bit of confidence at the start of the season to be sort of swimming at this sort of level.
Yeah, I'm really happy with my performance over 400 and 800 free. And it's always a good idea swimming in Berlin and performance in Berlin. And it's a pleasure to race with Sarah again.
You know, it was a pleasure to watch as well. There's something in the water with Germany and distance swimmers, ladies and gentlemen. Please give it up for your winner, Isabel Goza.
Isabel Goza, the winner. Celebrating with her teammate, Sarah Velbroek. Once those two very popular athletes have had a chat with our German-speaking colleagues, so the crowd can hear from them, then we'll resume the action with the women's 100-metre butterfly final. Delighted to be caught on camera there, no doubt. The women's 100 metres butterfly final about to get underway. Representing Sweden, and in lane 8, Sara Junevik. In lane 1 from the Netherlands, Kim Busch.
Representing Belgium, Roos van Otterdijk.
Occupying lane number 7, the Belgian Roos van Otterdijk.
2, representing Finland, Laura Lahtinen.
Finland's Laura Lahtinen goes in lane number 2.
Lane 6, representing Denmark, Helena Bach.
Denmark's Helena Bach.
In lane 3,
6.
representing Germany,
Angelina Kohler of Germany will be in lane number 3. It's a great reception from the fans. Maaike de Voorde of the Netherlands goes in lane number 5. And there is the best performer in qualification, Sweden's Louise Hansen, who goes in lane number 4. The start list for the women's 100-metre butterfly final. Louise Hansen of Sweden, the best performer in qualification, goes in lane 4. And she really was overwhelmingly the best in qualification. The 25-year-old winner of an extraordinary 3 gold medals at the last short course World Championships. She's part of the multi-sport club of Helsingborg. It's the women's 100-metre butterfly final at the Berlin World Cup of Swimming. Great start from Van Otterdijk of Belgium in lane number 7, and also by Laura Lahtinen. But here we go, Louise Hansen will take control of this on the first turn, as she is wont to do. She was magnificent in the qualification campaign with a time of 55.66 seconds. It's going to be very tight though here, and actually de Voorde is very close to her in lane 5, just 2/10 down. And we got ourselves an interesting race going on, but Hansen so good at pulling away from her nearest rivals, and she's starting to do that here. Look at how that gap has changed over 25 metres. Brilliant. Angelina Köhler of Germany has gone into 3rd position, but this is a super swim here from Louise Hansen, and she's not far away from the world record. That was really impressive from Louise Hansen of Sweden. 55.33. Really emphatic from Hansen, taking a few tenths off her qualification time as well. Taking 2nd place there, it was Maaike de Voorde of the Netherlands, and well done to Laura Lahtinen, who from lane 2 managed to take 3rd place. But it was Louise Hansen really all the way, as we expected. Extraordinary to manage to get over 1.5 seconds quicker than the 2nd place finisher over 100 metres in a short course format. She's got such an extraordinary collection of medals, full colours at the Short Course World Championships and the Long Course European Championships. And as the classified results indicate, that was easy for Louise Hansen, or at least she made it look easy. Maaike de Voorde taking 2nd, and Laura Lahtinen winning the bronze. So we'll go over to John Mason now.
Louise, congratulations. It's so nice to have you here. Last night, getting you in the top spot. That was a fantastic performance. I love watching you swim butterfly. How are you feeling only a few weeks back in the water?
Thank you so much. No, I'm really surprised that I'm able to go 55.3 here. So just really thrilled that I can start off the season.
And I know your sister Sophie's just joined you over there in Loughborough. What's it like having her there as a training partner? It's got to feel like home.
We've actually never trained together, so it's a lot of fun. And yeah, haven't even lived in the same city for the past 6 years. So it's really excited to have family close again.
Fun little journey, I'm sure. And by the way, I've just had word, that's just put you into the top 3 spots so far, points-wise, moving into the final day. So we'll keep you updated on that, ladies and gentlemen. Maaike, a regular face on the Swimming World Cup Series. It's always great to watch you race. Are you only doing this week? Coming to Toronto?
No, I'm only doing this meet, but I'm happy to be here, and it's our first meet, so yeah, it was really fun.
Well, it's always great to watch you race as well, and I'm sorry you're not going to be there. You will be missed. Laura, you absolutely smashed it. Another place in for you, 3rd place. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for your winner, the wonderful Louise Hansen.
All right, stand by multi 127 and intro track. Multi 127 in 3, 2, 1, go. Intro the event, go.
This is the men's 50-meter butterfly final.
Now the men's 50-meter butterfly final. Representing France in lane number 8, it is Florent Manodou. Matteo Rivolta of Italy in lane number 1. Chad Leclos of South Africa in lane 7. Very good performances so far. Incredible record at World Cup level. Here is Shane Cassis of the United States of America, who goes in lane number 2.
Lane 6 for Hungary, Sebastian Sabo.
Sebastian Szabo of Hungary is in lane number 6. Germany's Marius Kusch in lane 3.
Lane 5, representing United States of America, Tom Shields.
From the United States of America, Tom Shields goes in lane number 5. Only 0.02 of a second in qualification behind this gentleman, Dylan Carter of Trinidad and Tobago.
This is the men's 50-meter butterfly final.
The start list for the men's 50-meter butterfly final. Dylan Carter of Trinidad and Tobago, who has raced so well over the last couple of days, goes in lane 4. Looking for yet another victory, the 26-year-old. But this was rather tight in qualification. Just 0.02 over Tom Shields. Him just 100th over Marius Kusch. Get ready for an engrossing men's 50-meter butterfly at the Berlin World Cup of Swimming. And a very good reaction from Shane Cassis at the start. Likewise, Chad Leclos. But it's Carter, 0.03 of a second over Florent Manodou out in lane 8. And this is really fast looking from Carter. Is he going to hold on and take this? It could be very, very tight. It's going to be Carter just about over Chad Leclos. And then Rivolta out in lane number 1, managing to secure the bronze. But it's another win for Dylan Carter, who has been superb here in Berlin. We thought it might be close. It was. It was Carter over Leclos by 0.08. Rivolta 1/4 of a second behind. And we have a look back at yet another highly imposing performance by Dylan Carter. Silver medalist at the last World Championships in short course format. Going better than the bronze medal he won in China 3 years before. John is going to be with the winners right after we get the classified results. Third place to Matteo Rivolta, second place to Chad Leclos, and first place to Dylan Carter. Let's hear from him.
Well, what a cracking race. I tell you what, I love watching that. That was amazing stacked field there. Dylan, that's all 3. You did 50 free, 50 back, now 50 fly. Not a bad way to start the series.
Yeah, now I just need to learn how to swim breaststroke.
Chad is currently 3rd in the points.
You got any tips for that?
Well, don't be asking me, mate. I'd be terrible at it. But that just puts you, I've just been told, put you up into 2nd place overall. It's a fantastic way to start the series. Give you a bit of confidence moving forward over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. That gives me some confidence, and I'm racing the best in the world here. So, you know, hopefully I can stay up there.
And Chad, I mean, I'm used to watching you do a 1 and a 2. 22.2 is not bad for a 50. You said you're happy with that.
I'm over the moon, really. I haven't done that time in about 5-6 years, so like I said last night, you know, racing the best in the world with Theo and Dylan. Dylan's had a great meet so far, and yeah, it's going to be fun for the next couple 2 weeks.
Stream, JB?
Well, I really do think it's going to be. And Matteo, that finishes your competition. You're done. You're not coming on. You're going to go home and put your feet up now.
No, I'm done with the competition in Berlin, but I mean, it was a lucky side lane for me because this morning, chatting with Chad, we were worried about being cut off, but we succeeded to do a great performance.
You did. Well, it was so good to watch. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for these legends, and especially your winner, Dylan Carter.
3 out of 3, Dylan Carter, phenomenal. What form he's in.
This is the women's 200-meter backstroke final.
The women's 200-meter backstroke final is the next to take place. In lane 8 from the Netherlands, Tessa Vermeulen. In lane 1, Ukraine's Darina Zavina. Sweden's Hanna Rosvall goes in lane number 7.
Representing United States of America, Peter Nelson.
The leader coming into today narrowly in the women's point standings. Peter Nelson of the United States of America in lane number 2 here, though. Lotte Hosper of the Netherlands is in lane number 6.
Representing Canada,
Strong performer so far, Ingrid Wilm of Canada in lane number 3. Adela Piskorska of Poland occupies lane number 5.
representing Canada, Kylie Mass.
But the fastest in qualification, really by some way, Kylie Mass of Canada.
200-meter backstroke final.
The finalists in the women's 200-meter backstroke competition with Kylie Mass of Canada. Easily the best performer in qualification by not far off a full second. Four times an Olympic medalist. The Canadian 26-year-old from Windsor in Ontario. 6 medals at the short course World Championships, all silver. We begin the women's 200-meter backstroke final at the FINA Swimming World Cup in Berlin, and expectation is that Kylie Mass will control this one. She certainly has from the start over Peter Nelson of the USA. Let's have a look at the first turn, and it is Nelson just over Mass, but marginally, just over 1/10 of a second. Really good start, though, from Peter Nelson, who herself has been such a fine performer in this World Cup races so far. And Nelson at the moment is really opening up a margin over Kylie Mass. May well be that this is going to be one of those races that doesn't relate too greatly to qualification. What are we going to see from Mass now? Back to a 1/4 of a second. Piskorska of Poland is in 3rd position. We've got ourselves a really intriguing contest between Mass and Nelson, and it is now just 400 shaved off that after the last turn. Still it is Nelson, the leader at the moment in the overall standings as well, and she's going to lead at this turn by over 1/3 of a second. Now Ingrid Wilm has got herself involved into 3rd position. Piskorska's dropped down into 4th place. Nelson's starting to look really good now. 2/3 of a second over Kylie Mass. Nelson has saved her best for this final, really overwhelmingly. Might be a little tighter here. Yes, it is, down to half a second. De Wilm is well outside of this 2.05 behind the leader in third position, but we've got ourselves a bit of a duel. Nelson has responded well to Mass, and as a result, she secured it really quite impressively. That's a great display from lane 2 by Peter Nelson of the United States of America, winning the women's 200-meter backstroke final. Kylie Mass was really impressive in qualification, but they both took a lot of time off of that. Nelson significantly more. Mass started superbly as well, really quickly. Great reaction time. But Nelson is just thriving, absolutely thriving in this format. She said yesterday after one of the races that she just loves her walls. Is so good on the turn. And she's picked up yet more points. And big ones too. The classified results in the women's 200-meter backstroke final: the bronze to Canada's Ingrid Wilm, the silver to her teammate Kylie Mass, and the gold to Peter Nelson of the United States of America. Let's hear from them.
Well, congratulations, ladies. Another top 3 finish for all of you, I suppose, every backstroke event. Peter, I watch you, and I know I mentioned last night, but your underwaters are so impressive, especially in a 200 like this. You were coming up at the same place from first turn to last turn. That must take a toll on the body.
Yeah, it hurts, I'm not gonna lie. But I practice it every day, and I know it's something that I need to utilize as a strength of mine, so I push it even if it hurts, all the way to the last wall, and, you know, gotta do it.
And you did it, I tell you what. And Kylie, you know, the 50 and the 200, very different races. You gotta have a favorite.
I'm not going
yeah, the 50 and 100 are definitely on top of the 200 for me, but it's a privilege to race these two, and they pushed me to continue to try to improve my 200.
I love it, and I love to watch it as well. And Ingrid, I know tomorrow we're going back to Canada. It's the next stop. We haven't been there in a while. You must be so excited to have everyone there to do this all over again.
Yes, I'm quite excited. I heard that finals sessions have been all sold out, so I'm really excited to see the crowd and just feel the energy at our home country. I've never done an international competition in Canada, so I'm pretty excited, yeah.
It's going to be fantastic. The smile says it all. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for these 3 legends, especially your current leader, Peter Nelson.
Stand by, Bob.
The leader, Peter Nelson of the United States of America. The men's 100-meter backstroke final is the next race to bring you. Israel's Yakov Tumarkin is in lane number 8. The Canadian Javier Acevedo goes in lane number 1. Italy's Thomas Chekon is in lane 7. Was very good on the first day in particular. Poland's Sawary Matsiuk is in lane number 2. Johan Ndoye-Boua of France goes in 6. From the Czech Republic, it's Tomáš Franta in lane 3. Apostolos Christou of Greece is in lane 5. Shane Cassis, the best performer in qualification, goes in lane number 4. The men's 100-meter backstroke final with the United States of America's Shane Cassis in pole position after a great performance in qualification. 22-year-old from San Diego. And the reigning world champion in short course competition. Took 2 gold medals in Abu Dhabi last year. The men's 100-meter backstroke final at the FINA Swimming World Cup in Berlin. Cassis and Acevedo starting particularly well. How will that translate into the sort of lead the American has at the first turn? It's just 0.2 of a second over Thomas Chekon in lane number 7. But Cassis, the reigning world champion, really has performed well so far in these World Cup events, with Christou of Greece 400ths away. Christou's done nicely over the last 25 metres. Chekon dropping down into 3rd position. Now it is Cassis, 0.22. It could be quite tight, but it looks as though it's going to be Cassis. Here we go, heading to the wall. Cassis, keep an eye on lane number 7. Thomas Chekon. It's Cassis just over Chekon and tied Javier Acevedo and Apostolos Christou of Greece. But Shane Cassis picks up the victory. The reigning world champion establishing himself as still the gentleman to beat in this sort of race. A man based in Texas for his undergraduate and graduate studies. He started very well. Continued to build upon that, winning it in the end by just 0.08 of a second. It looked as though Chekon was heading for a good finish in lane 7, and he might have got there with another 5 metres. And a very tight finish with Acevedo and Christou in lanes 1 and 5 respectively, tying for 3rd place. Classified results in the men's 100-meter backstroke final. Tied for 3rd place, Javier Acevedo and Apostolos Christou. 2nd place to Thomas Chekon, and the win for Shane Cassis. Let's hear from him.
Well, I tell you what a race, guys. Right at the touch for 1st and 2nd, and a double bronze. Congratulations, Shane, just literally right at the touch there, just pipping out Thomas to that 1st place. That concludes your program. It's got to be nice to finally to finish with a win.
Yeah, kind of tough double, you know, swam 10 minutes ago, but focus was just 8 kicks each wall, just tempo, and you know, I can't control other people's, but just focus on myself. And it was a good race.
And I mean, you, Thomas, you were a couple of lanes over. Could you see where he was? Did you know where he was when you were coming into that?
No, just focus on my way.
Get that point. You need to win and get that time.
That's my PB. Under 50 seconds, and that's my goal. And I'm super happy because he is world championship in short course, and it's really hard to beat it.
Well, look, you had a cracking good go at it. Anyway, we got a double bronze as well, guys. We are out of time, but congratulations to both of you guys. I'm sorry, you were amazing. Give it up for our winners, Shane Cassis.
Shane Cassis taking the win. It's now the women's 50-meter breaststroke final.
In lane 8, representing Belgium, Florine Gaspar.
Florine Gaspar of Belgium is in lane at number 8.
Representing
from Norway, Silja Slingstad is in lane 1. Ida Hulko of Finland goes in lane 7.
In lane 2, representing Israel, Anastasia Gorbenko.
Point scorer across this weekend, Anastasia Gorbenko of Israel goes in lane number 2.
Representing Italy, Lisa Angiolini.
Italy's Lisa Angiolini is in lane number 6.
Lane 3 for Sweden, Clara Thormel.
Sweden's Clara Tolmalm is in lane number 3.
5 for Sweden, Sophie Hansen.
Sophie Hansen of Sweden is in lane 5. She wasn't too far behind this individual in qualification, but it's Rūta Meilutytė of Lithuania who is in lane 4. She won the double distance yesterday, the women's 50-meter breaststroke final, and Rūta Meilutytė of Lithuania continues to look an imposing presence. The Olympic champion, double the distance from London in 2012, but the reigning long course world champion in the 50-meter breaststroke. So we begin the women's 50-meter breaststroke final at the FINA Swimming World Cup in Berlin, with Rūta Meilutytė of Lithuania starting really well. What a great reaction time of Anastasia Gorbenko. So quick, so impressive. 6/10 already over Hansen and Slingstad of Norway. It's Rūta Meilutytė who is absolutely out in front, clear and away, and sensational. This is brilliant. Oh, what a time from Rūta Meilutytė of Lithuania. That was so close to being a world record display. 28.6 to 28.56. That is how good that swim was from the Lithuanian. No wonder she throws her head back and smiles. Second place to Sophie Hansen, and third place Anastasia Gorbenko. Glorious from start to finish. This is swimming at its finest. It's just what she does, this. She is magnificent at it. More points, another win for Rūta Meilutytė of Lithuania. The classified results in the women's 50-meter breaststroke competition. Rūta Meilutytė of Lithuania winning it over Sophie Hansen of Sweden. And look at the gap. Anastasia Gorbenko taking third place.
Well, I tell you what, Rūta, what an amazing swim. Last night you had a cracking 100, and now literally 0.04 off the world record this early on in the season. What's going through your mind? Were you expecting that?
Yeah.
I love the confidence. We love that, right? So moving on through the season, is that something that's going to be in your sights now? That world record? You know you're right there. Yeah.
No, I don't aim for like a result. Trying just to swim for swimming.
Swim for swimming. I love this. And you did brilliant. I've just had an update. You've just moved up into third place overall with that swim, so congratulations. Sophie, you yourself have had big changes happen recently. You're now over at Loughborough. Are you enjoying the training and moving over there to the program with your sister?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's been great so far, and really fun to be back training with my sister again.
Well, I love seeing what you did. I loved last year in Abu Dhabi. I can't wait till Melbourne. Anastasia, last quick question before you go, my darling. Have you had fun in Berlin?
Yeah, I love Berlin.
I love it. She's always looking to have fun. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ruta Meliutite.
Magnificent. Ruta Meliutite of Lithuania. Unstoppable. She was asked, did you expect it? Yes. And why wouldn't you with her? 4 more races to go. We start with the men's 200-meter breaststroke final. In lane 8, it's the Norwegian Christopher Harsaker.
Representing Netherlands, Ivo Kroos.
Ivo Kroos of the Netherlands is in lane 1. Maxim Ovchinnikov of Ukraine is in lane 7.
In lane 2, representing Lithuania, Andrius Sidlauskas.
Andrius Sidlauskas of Lithuania is in lane 2.
Representing United States of America, Nick Fink.
The USA's Nick Fink is in lane 6.
In lane 3, representing Germany, Marco Koch.
Marco Koch of Germany is in lane 3.
In lane 5, representing Poland, David Wajkiera.
David Wajkiera of Poland in lane 5. And it is Matej Zabojnik of the Czech Republic who was the strongest performer in qualification, but only by 200ths over Wajkiera. The finalists in the men's 200-meter breaststroke competition, and lanes 4 and 5 could be most fascinating. Matej Zabojnik and David Wajkiera. Little to separate them in qualification. The men's 200-meter breaststroke final at the FINA Swimming World Cup in Berlin. Pretty tight start. At the first turn, it is Matej Zabojnik, the 22-year-old, who leads by just a tenth over Nick Fink of the United States of America. Very good performances by the men from the USA, particularly on the first day. They establish a good presence in the leaderboard. Ovchinnikov of Ukraine has come into just 100th of a second shy of Zabojnik, so we've got a tight race going on. As the qualification numbers suggested, we might have. Ovchinnikov leads by over a tenth of a second. Marco Koch of Germany has come into 3rd position in lane 3. At the halfway point of proceedings, it is Maxim Ovchinnikov over Zabojnik, impressively by almost a third of a second. This is a really good display from Maxim Ovchinnikov out in lane 7. Really looking impressive. Now, it's going to be quite tight here at the turn. It's 300ths, that's all, and Koch also is in this. A tenth and a half or thereabouts outside of the lead. So we're coming up to the 150-metre mark, with this one still far too close to call. Keep an eye on lane 3 now. Koch has just edged into the lead over a third of a second. ahead of Ovchinnikov of Ukraine, with Zabojnik now down in third place, but just 100th of a second behind Ovchinnikov. So we've got ourselves a grandstand finish coming up in this race. Let's see, it's Koch ahead of Zabojnik by quite a gap. Nick Fink of the USA is now back into the race. He's gone up from 5th into 3rd position. But what's a brilliant finish to the race from Marco Koch of Germany. It's going to be tight between him and Nick Fink, and it's just Nick Fink. Just Nick Fink over Marco Koch, with David Viqueira of Poland taking 3rd place. And it was 100th of a second. Nick Fink, the victor. Extraordinary. Well, I said at the start that there was anticipation this would be a very close one based on some of the qualifying times, and it certainly turned out that way. Oh, he was unlucky there, Marco Koch. That was close. And we look back at the start of an enthralling men's 200-metre breaststroke final. He was in 3rd place, the German, until the turn going into 150 metres. Then he took the lead, just dropped down at the end into 2nd place. For Nick Fink, it was a meteoric rise from 6th at the halfway mark and 5th with 50 metres to go. Brilliant finish from the American. The classified results in the men's 200-metre breaststroke final. 3rd place to David Viqueira of Poland, 2nd place to Marco Koch of Germany, and the win for Nick Fink of the USA.
Well, I tell you what, it doesn't get much closer than that, 0.01. Guys, I can see you're all hurting here. Nick, that final 50 was incredible. 31.2, I think it was, for that final 50. That must have hurt.
Yeah, I mean, he was going out pretty much ahead of me, and I knew I had to bring it back something fast to be in the hunt, so.
It was pretty amazing to watch. And Marco, of course, nice to race in front of a home crowd like this, having them behind you, and of course to get here in this position. It's early on in the season, good to see where you guys stand, but is it also good to see where everyone else is at this point?
Yeah, it was really nice experience. I had a pretty long summer break, so I'm pretty happy with my time. I tried to push it in the middle 100, and on the last 25 I didn't want to come up anymore. It was pretty tough.
Very tough, but it was fantastic to watch. And David as well, congratulations. You've got to be very happy with that way to finish off your program.
Thank you very much.
Love to see it. Currently moved into 3rd place overall, ladies and gentlemen. Please give it up for your winner, Nick Fink.
One-100th of a second between those two. Great race. The women's 100-metre freestyle final is the next attraction to bring you. Just 3 races to go. They're going to be cracking ones.
Representing United States of America, Erica Brown.
In lane 8 from the United States of America, Erica Brown.
In lane 1, representing Australia, Meg Harris.
One of 2 Australians in this final. Meg Harris is in lane 1.
Representing Sweden, Michelle Coleman.
Michelle Coleman from Sweden is in lane 7.
Representing France, Beryl Gastadillo.
From France, Beryl Gastaldello in lane 2. The USA's Katie Duluth is in lane 6. Marit Steenbergen of the Netherlands goes in 3.
Representing Australia, Madison Wilson.
Australia's Madison Wilson is in lane number 5.
And in lane 4, representing Hong Kong, China, Siobhan Haughey.
What a start performer Siobhan Haughey of Hong Kong has been. She goes in lane 4 in search of yet another victory this weekend in Berlin. And entirely with it in her grasp is the women's 100-metre freestyle final. Siobhan Haughey of Hong Kong is in lane 4. Twice an Olympic medalist, including in this event. And she is the reigning short course world champion to boot. The women's 100-metre freestyle final in Berlin. 4 lengths of the pool, the short course format. Good start from the likes of Gaston Dello, but Haughey is close, 700s behind the French swimmer in lane number 2. Haughey just has looked utterly superb so far across the World Cup competition here in Berlin. She's going to be leading here, and she's now a couple of tenths ahead of Gaston Dello, with Brown in lane 8 in 3rd position. Siobhan Haughey in search of yet another win, and a really impressive points haul. Wilson has now come through half a second behind Haughey into 2nd position. 3rd place is Gaston Dello, but it is going to be Siobhan Haughey, and looking highly comfortable, highly impressive, and with a very good time. It's Haughey over Wilson, over Steenbergen. Siobhan Haughey again, the winner of the women's 100-metre freestyle competition in Berlin. The 2-time Olympic medalist and the reigning world champion. She gets there ahead of a good finish from Maddie Wilson, 0.41 behind. Just 600ths behind her was Marit Steenbergen, coming 3rd. Gaston Dello, who was one of the early pace setters, ending up in 4th position. As we look back at the opening moments of this display from Siobhan Haughey. Brilliant performance. The classified results in the women's 100-metre freestyle race. The final won by Siobhan Haughey of Hong Kong over Madison Wilson of Australia, and Marit Steenbergen of the Netherlands in 3rd place.
There you have it, a fantastic race. It's always wonderful to watch you ladies in the water. Siobhan, that swim just put you on the top of the leaderboard overall for the female swimmer of this meet. You've had a great 100, a great 200, a great 400, trying different things. Has it helped get your head straight for the rest of the season?
Yeah, definitely. Going into this meet, I'm just trying new things and see what works, what doesn't. And I think now I have a better idea of where I am right now, and hopefully I can just keep getting better every summer. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see what you do in the next 2. And Maddie, you know, Siobhan's saying it's sort of figuring out where you are as well, but it's also got to be good to see where everyone else is, sort of where you're placing in the world, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a really good first start meet. It's really fast. Siobhan is swimming absolutely amazing, so it's actually incredible to be in there and be next to someone as amazing as her.
Pushing you on, right?
Absolutely.
Love to watch it. And Marit, you're leaving us here. You're not coming on to Toronto and Indianapolis. It's been amazing watching you race. Have you enjoyed your time on the World Cups?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. It's only my 2nd World Cup, but doing it in front of a crowd is amazing, and I'm really happy to be here.
Well, I hope to see you next year.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for your winner, Siobhan Haughey.
Siobhan Haughey with a splendid performance, as we've come to expect. 2 more races left. Let's go to the men's 200-meter freestyle final. Ben Schwittert of the Netherlands is in lane 8. Estonia's Grigor Zirk is in lane number 1.
7, representing Switzerland, Noel Ponti.
Now, Ponti of Switzerland has had some good performances this weekend. He goes in lane 7. From the Netherlands, Luke Kroon is in lane number 2.
6, representing Lithuania, Janis Rapsas.
Janis Rapsas of Lithuania is in lane number 6.
Representing Australia, Kyle Chalmers.
The man with full colours at the Olympic Games, Kyle Chalmers of Australia, goes in lane 3. The United States of America has Kieran Smith representing them in lane 5.
South Africa, Matthew Sates.
And it is Matthew Sates of South Africa who is in lane number 4.
This is the men's 200-meter freestyle final.
The men's 200-meter freestyle final at the World Cup in Berlin. Matthew Sates of South Africa, the strongest performer in qualification, the world junior record holder. This could be quite some race. Let's get ready for this one. The men's 200-meter freestyle final at the World Cup in Berlin is set to be a real showstopper. Decent start by Sates and Grigor Zirk of Estonia, but it's Kyle Chalmers early on ahead of Smith of the United States of America in 5. So Chalmers in 3, Sates in 4, Smith in 5. And it's a very good start, this. Chalmers is ahead of the world record time at the moment with some way to go. 8 lengths in total in a 200-meter short course competition. Chalmers, then Smith, then Sates, half a second separating them. Very good swimming this from Kyle Chalmers, very good swimming. Smith is trying to keep pace with him. Sates has just drifted back a little, but it is Chalmers who's got a commanding lead. Now at the 125-meter mark, Chalmers. Pace has dropped a fraction, but it's still very impressive. Now, can anyone catch Chalmers? This is getting close. Sates is making his quest here, down to just over 2/10. Smith is in the 3rd position, but it's getting very tight, between Chalmers and between Sates. It might just be Sates. It is just Sates by 900ths of a second. Sates is doing what he does. He's finishing this race absolutely superbly. What a race here as they're going to the wall. Sates is just ahead of Chalmers. Just ahead, it's going to be very tight. It's Sates ahead of Chalmers. And Smith taking 3rd position. But he's done it again. Matthew Sates. What a response. Chalmers was so fast at the start. And Sates was so quick at the finish. Well done to Kieran Smith of the United States of America, managing to secure 3rd place in this men's 200-meter freestyle final. Goodness me, he's something. Let's have a reminder of how this race was won. It all started with Kyle Chalmers from Australia. He led it until between the 150 and 175 metre mark. For Sates, it was the last turn where he took control and then just held on, just about held on by a margin of 0.21. Classified results in the men's 200-metre freestyle final. Kieran Smith of the USA take the bronze, Australia's Carl Chalmers the silver, and Matthew Sates of South Africa has won another one. Let's hear from them.
Well, what a race, ladies and gentlemen, to finish out the men's program here in Berlin. Matthew, you didn't just win that. I've just had it confirmed you're our overall best swimmer of this meet, so congratulations. That was a fun way to finish it, though, right?
Yeah, I always love swimming against Kyle. It's one of my favorite things to do, is swim against Kyle. So always just happy just to be in the race with him, no matter what the outcome.
I mean, it was wonderful to watch. Carl, you went out fast, man, but you looked good out there. Did it feel like it?
It felt good for the first 150, and I knew exactly what was going to happen, and we did it last year here in Berlin, so one day I'm going to get there. I'm going to get my hand on the ball first, but again, I love racing against Matt. We spent the day together today, and we're going to have a good battle again next week, I'm sure.
Can't wait to see it. That redemption swim is going for it, Matt. Keep an eye on him. Kieran, as well, finish off your program here for the weekend. Have you had a great time in Berlin?
I've had a really good time. Still trying to get adjusted to short course meter swimming. Just trying to hit my stroke counts properly, and I have a lot of things to learn from here.
Well, it's been great watching you race the whole weekend. Thanks for coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for your winner, Matthew Sates.
What a great respect they have for each other, these two. How lucky we are to get to enjoy watching them race against each other. Superb sports here in Berlin and superb sportsmanship. The women's 200-metre individual medley final will be the last race of this World Cup. Italy's Ilaria Cusinato is in lane 8. Hungary's Susanna Jakobos is in lane 1. From Italy, Sara Franceschi is in lane 7.
In lane 2, representing United States of America, Peter Nelson.
The USA's Peter Nelson in lane 2.
In lane 6, representing France, Charlotte Bonnet.
Charlotte Bonnet of France occupies lane number 6. Anastasia Gorbenko of Israel is in 3.
In lane 5, representing Canada, Bailey Anderson.
The Canadian Bailey Anderson races in lane number 5.
Representing Great Britain, Abby Wood.
The fastest in qualification, Abby Wood of Great Britain. The women's 200-metre individual medley final, and Abby Wood of Great Britain goes in lane number 4 as the strongest performer in the qualification phase. It is the final race of this 3-day World Cup event in Berlin, Germany. And there is the 23-year-old from Buxton. Derbyshire's finest, and 5 medals she won at the Commonwealth Games. The women's 200-metre individual medley is the last race to take place at the FINA Swimming World Cup in Berlin. Quick beginning from Gorbenko, Cucinato and Wood. Peter Nelson of the United States of America ahead of Wood early on. Nelson has had an absolutely remarkable competition. The leader, and she's very close with Wood here, also in 8 to Cucinato, about half a second behind the lead, but it is Nelson and Wood who are leading this and controlling this early on. A long way still to go. Woods has pulled away 1/3 of a second beyond Nelson. Cucinato still occupying 3rd place. Cucinato had Gorbenko very close to that mark, just 300s behind her at the last turn, so it'll be interesting to see if Gorbenko has managed to just get ahead. It's now Franceschi of Italy who actually has moved from lane 7 into 3rd place. Abby Wood of Great Britain in lane 4. It's going to be ahead of Nelson by over 3/4 of a second. Cucinato's got very close to Peter Nelson, just 100th away from her. We're coming up at this turn to the last 50 metres. It's going to be Wood still, half a second and then some over Nelson, with Cucinato in 3rd position. They're starting to really pull away those 3, but it's very tight now with Wood and Nelson. Nelson could be about to deliver a fantastic finish here. This is where she's in her element, as she is ahead of Wood, and she looks as though she's going to take it as well. Peter Nelson, who's been magnificent since the very start of this World Cup, and she's going to take this one, and it might just be Gorbenko ahead of Wood. It is for 2nd place. Brilliant from Nelson. Anastasia Gorbenko of Israel ahead of Abby Wood. Peter Nelson, yet again, a high point scorer. Very well done to Anastasia Gorbenko of Israel for that quality of finish. Got there 300ths of a second ahead of Abby Wood of Great Britain. Cucinato in 4th position. A very interesting journey. Wood playing to her strengths, performing well when she needed to. But a difficult last 25 metres for the British competitor. And that's when Nelson was just sublime. Great swimming from the American. Great weekend, great World Cup. The classified results in the women's 200-metre individual medley final. Bronze for Abby Wood of Great Britain, silver to Anastasia Gorbenko of Israel, and the gold to Peter Nelson of the USA. Let's go to John Mason.
Well, the last interview of the night. Abby, come on in. There she is. Congratulations to all of you. Peter, I've just had it confirmed. Another win here, but of course now 2nd overall on the female program for the meet. That's got to be a nice way to start the series.
Yeah, I can't complain. You know, I was deciding whether or not I was going to do both the 200s today, and I'm glad I made the decision to do so. Tough double, but great way to end the meet. It's always fun to race these ladies. I'm used to racing them, so always fun.
Always fun, you know, and that's sort of what you've always said as well, Anastasia. You always come out here to have fun. You want to win, but it's a part of having fun. Lots of people have come in to cheer you guys on. Is there anything you want to say to everyone who came out to support you?
Yeah, thank you for everyone that cheered, even from the TV. Yeah, thank you for supporting through the way.
Yeah, we love it. Abby, finally, I know you cannot join us often. Are we going to have you back next year?
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoy the World Cup and hopefully I'll be back next year to go again.
Yes, go for it. We've loved having you. Ladies and gentlemen, for the last time, would you please give it up for your winner, Bina Nelson.
Bina Nelson has enjoyed really impressive form to start her World Cup campaign. 2 more stops. The last will be in her home country, in Indianapolis. Toronto next. Well, that is the end of the action, but we have got a couple of victory ceremonies to bring your way in just a moment. Don't go too far away because we'll be bringing those celebrations of the top 3 performers to your screens in just a matter of a few minutes or so as the dust settles here in Berlin at the Schwimm- und Sprunghalle in Europa Sport Park.
Für den zweiten Platz 10.000, für den dritten Platz 8.000 und dann ab dem vierten Platz für den gibt es 6.000. Da geht es in Schritten runter bis zu Platz 20, der immer noch 4.000 US-Dollar gewinnt. Und wir ehren gleich natürlich die ersten 3 dieses ersten Stops hier in Berlin. Overall gibt es dann natürlich auch nochmal Preisgeld, und zwar wer über alle 3 Stops die meisten Punkte ergattert, kriegt satte 100.000 US-Dollar. Zweiter Platz 60.000, der dritte Platz gibt noch 30.000, geht runter bis zum 8. Platz, wo es dann 10.000 Dollar nochmal Cash auf die Hand gibt. Also das lohnt sich richtig für die Schwimmerinnen und Schwimmer hier gute Leistung zu bringen, denn das ist gut für die Kasse.
Genau, neben den Preisen für die Position oder für die Platzierung, da gibt es sogar noch Sonderprämien. Also wenn heute die Weltrekordmarke geknackt worden, Belgien hätte das auch nochmal 10.000 Dollar pro Weltrekord gegeben. Also auch da wirklich spannend, was sich schon mal auf den nächsten Stationen in Toronto und Indianapolis noch abgeführt wird. Wer alle 3 Shows mitmacht und seine Strecke in allen 3 Städten gewinnt, der kann sich quasi eine Krone sichern, Brown, und gewinnt auch da nochmal eine Sonderprämie für 10.000 Dollar. Also ein sehr lukratives Rennen kann das so sein oder ein sehr lukrativer Wettbewerb. Wenn man an einer vollen Serie mitmacht, aber auch die einzelnen Shows. Es macht einfach Spaß, dieses Format. Immer wieder spannend, schon seit vielen, vielen Jahren.
well. It's time for the meet points ceremony at the conclusion of this Swimming World Cup in Berlin, Germany.
Committee delegate Jens Christian Iversen, accompanied by President of the German Swimming Federation, Marco Troll.
There are your top performers.
Winning $8,000 with 53.1 points. Representing Canada, Kylie Mass.
Kylie Mass of Canada in third position.
$8,000 with 57
Mass is Nick Fink.
Nick Fink.
They collect their medals and their winners' checks as well.
$10,000 with 57.3 points. Representing United States of America, Peter Nelson.
In the women's competition, second place to Peter Nelson of the United States of America. The same number of points to Trinidad and Tobago's Dylan Carter in the men's event.
$10,000 with 57.3 points. Representing Trinidad and Tobago, Dylan Carter. Your women's Berlin champion, winning $12,000 with 58.5 points, representing Hong Kong, China, Siobhan Jorge.
The champion in Berlin in the women's competition and taking the check for $12,000. It is Hong Kong's Siobhan Jorge.
Your men's Berlin champion, winning $12,000 with 58.3 points, representing South Africa, Matthew Sates.
And her counterpart in the men's competition is the South African Matthew Sates. No doubt about that. No doubt about it at all. Those two, quite superb. Siobhan Jorge and Matthew Sates.
Venus Swimming World Cup points winners.
And so the World Cup season has begun in earnest, and it will move very quickly on to Toronto and then to Indianapolis. This quick-fire system of competitions where points accumulation literally means prizes. And the top performers from this entertaining few days in the Schwimm- und Sprunghalle at the Europa Sport Park in Berlin, Germany. And so the top performers depart, and it means it's time for us to depart as well. Time to say goodbye from Berlin, and it's been a great pleasure having your company over the course of the FINA Swimming World Cup. On it goes across the oceans to North America, and we'll see you there.